Peace, unconditional love, and light, beautiful spirits. How are you doing today on the last Sunday of August? I hope all is going well for everyone. So, today, the first thing that I wanted to talk about would be we'll talk about the health. So, and then I want to go into the eclipse that we just had. I do want to talk about that. But as far as my health, I haven't gotten any updated results from the test. I did see, well, from one of my tests. I had a home sleep study for sleep apnea, and that did come back stating that I did not have obstructive sleep apnea, which is something that I did have in the past in my mid 20s to late 20s, I believe. I don't know, I can't remember. But once let me turn this off. Give me 1 second, y'all. I don't want to keep hearing the noise go off for notifications for my phone. So once I started changing the way that I was eating, and I guess if you want to call it exercise, I did start walking the track a little bit, but I think we talked about this in the last podcast in episode 6. Exercising has never been my thing, but I did start walking the track when I was on my weight loss journey. And that's when I end up having another sleep study done. And the doctor told me that I was all good, and I no longer needed to take or utilize the sleep machine that I had. So I stopped using that. And because of the health issues that I have coming up recently, the neurologist wanted to have a sleep study done to make sure that the sleep apnea has not came back. And based on what I got in my chart, it said that I do not have it. I'm still waiting. I have an appointment with the neurologist on September 16th, I believe. And by that time, we should be able to talk about all of the tests that he sent me out for. I do have my MRI coming up on September the 4th. So by the time I see him, he should have the results from everything, my EEG, the sleep study, and the MRI. And there may be one other test that he may have to have done, or imaging. I'm not sure how they're going to go about it, with looking at my spine and the back of my neck and making sure my nerves, or I don't know. I don't know what's back there, y'all. And I don't know what's going on. So I did want to update you all on that. So I would say health is looking better. August has been a lot better for me health wise than July was. And like I said, what triggered that was the heat wave that we had here in Michigan. And it kind of just brought on a whole bunch of other things along with it, which probably to it, which we know from past experiences that I've shared with you all, um, is coming up because it's time for me to go ahead and release, let go, and fully heal so that I can step into my purpose, without having any health issues get in the way of that. I do feel that, and I know that. So that's it with me as far as health goes, in that aspect. So what I wanted to talk about, because like I said, I have not been preparing for these lives, y'all. I've been busy. I literally have been putting in and picking up hours left and right. Anytime somebody dropped their schedule, I'm on the scheduler like, oh, it's a block of time available. Let me pick that up. So my days have been packed. I've been working 3 shifts every day, Monday through Friday. Well, not every day, but Monday through Friday. I do get the weekends off. And this week would be my last week. And I am taking a break. I feel it in me. I need a break. So I will be taking a break to go ahead and adjust for My daughter's schooling, Chantel, she will be starting kindergarten on September the 8th. And like I said, she's doing work from home. I'll still be working from home. She's doing the virtual school with K12.com. And I need to make sure that I have our schedule good in order, that I know how I need to schedule based on her school schedule, because I do I do call center customer service from home, and they don't like background noise. And because she's going to be in school, there is going to be background noise. She does have a headset though. So it may not be too bad, but I won't know until that first week. And I don't want to risk anything. So that first week that she starts school, I'll be taking that week off of work, and I'll be able to research and actually have things to bring to you all instead of just doing it on the fly. Even though I'm enjoying this, because I get to talk about whatever comes to me and whatever I feel called to talk about. But before this live, I was called to get the book again, and Numbers Spelt, Cards Dealt by Jackie Levine, The Master Key to Numerology and Cardology. So I wanted to look into this because I had a feeling that my health cycle had changed, and I haven't been looking at it. I haven't looked at it in a while. And so it has. It changed August 27th. And what caused me to look at this is because recently I've been craving food, y'all. I have started back craving Thai food. I want spicy stuff. And I'm like, oh, what is going on? The craving is back for spicy food because I was going through this a little bit earlier in the year. And about I'll say about February or March. And so that's back. So I'm like, oh, I want some Thai food. Oh, I want some donuts. Oh, I want uh smoothie bowl. I want, what else was it? Some spicy chicken from this one place. I believe it's called Swarovski's, or I don't know. I can't pronounce it, y'all, but they sell this food, and they use they sell this food. They sell chicken and pizza, I believe. But they use Cajun seasoning in their batter, and I've only had it twice, I believe. And I haven't had it since the winter. But when I had it, it was really, really good. So I'm like, what is going on? So I guess I was called to look at that before the live today, not only so that I can have something to talk about with y'all, but so that I am aware of what's going on. So when I look in this book and I look at my 52-day cycle, August 27th, I entered my fifth cycle, which is Saturn. And so for health, the fifth cycle, it focused on success, quick recovery, good living, and excessive eating or drinking that comes from the five energy in Saturn's harvest. So that explains so much. And it does say that health would be very good if living conditions are normal. I do need which I have been being told, and I have been doing deep breathing. The deep breathing I've been doing, but on one of uh Big E astrology on one of his lives, I believe it was last week, him and his wife Alana, I was talking about my health with them, and one of the things, or two of the things that they were talking about, was walking and exercising, and Alana spoke about squats in general, in particular, I should say. And that's in this book. It says deep breathing, long walks, and regular exercise, which is funny because episode 6 we were talking about exercise and how that's just not me. That's just not my thing. So I'm going to stop saying that. I have to catch myself now. I have to stop saying exercise is not me. It's just not what I do. We're going to change that starting today. And I'm going to come up with something to make it believable for my mind. so that I can transmute that energy and I can step into actually getting back into being active. I was active as a child. I used to ride my bike a lot. I used to skate. I used to love skating and riding my bike. Actually. Um I was involved in a couple things that you had to exercise and be active in. I used to play football, basketball around the neighborhood, and I don't know, as I got older, it just stopped, which is funny because my Mars is in Aries, and that could possibly be playing a part with my vitality because Mars and Aries need to move to get rid of that stuck energy that may come around. So, yeah, we're going to work on that. I haven't gotten there though. I haven't taken any walks and I haven't done any exercises, but I do a lot of deep breathing. And then one of the other ones says there's a tendency to overindulge in rich, spicy foods and drinks. Overeating must be avoided to prevent serious conditions. So, and it does say there's successful recovery from ailments that have existed for some time, which I just told you about. This month my health has been a bit better. uh I was dealing with a lot of pain in my neck a couple weeks ago, and it's only been, today is the fourth day that I've entered in the fifth cycle, so I don't really want to speak on it much. But if I do get a little pain in my neck, it's not lasting as long. So it's more like, oh, I slept wrong or something like that, which we know is deeper than that, but that's that. And then it speaks about meditation, metaphysical practices, and positive thinking that can have a great effect on the body than in any other period, which I have been getting the nudge to get back into my metaphysical practices. And I am going to do it. I'm going to use that week that I have off that Chantel will be going to school to get some things together and get some structure going because I do need to bring that back into my life. I have been called. It's so funny, y'all. I just keep pushing everything away. Everything away. I've a couple of times I've been feeling the nudge to like pick up my tarot deck and pull some cards for myself or do a spread, and I just don't. Or it's some excuse. Oh, I don't feel like getting up. Before the move, it was, oh, I don't feel like looking for the deck. Well, everything is all packed up and I don't know where it's at. And I do have a deck out on my desk and it's been here, but I haven't been wanting that. I'm like, if I'm going to pull some cards, then I need to go in my tote and pull out a deck that I actually feel called to use that day. So it's just been excuse after excuse for me not to get back to the card. So I'm going to work on that during that time off because I know that is a part of my path. Um, dabbling into the magical world. So we'll get that, but I did want to talk about that when it comes to health. I think that was it because when I looked at, so that's the health cycle. And I don't think I said this before, but each cycle, let me see. There are 7 cycles for each health, personal, and business. So I don't think I ever told y'all that in the beginning when I first started talking about the cycles. But I did want to let y'all know that. So I haven't been looking at my personal or my business cycles when it comes to the 52-day cycles. So today I did decide to do that before I came on. And with it being a business, with me being in the fifth cycle with the Saturn period, it is about growth and financial success, investment deals, things like that, of that sort, which I have been thinking a lot lately about getting back into day trading because I was doing that and I was heavy into it when I was doing my demo account, when I was using my demo account. But when I funded my account, actually, since I funded my account, I have not traded. I don't know what that's about. Well, we know what that's about. So we're going to talk about that next. But that was the business cycle. And then in my personal cycle, with me being in the fifth cycle, pretty much about bringing uh, projects to an end. There can be an increase in prosperity. And there we go again with that higher calling with religion, science, law, socially driven subjects, and things like that. It does say long trips. How long does this cycle last? I didn't pay attention to that. So I will be in this cycle. It started on August the 27th, 2026, and it will end, wow, October 17th. And that's when I will enter my Uranus cycle, cycle 6. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be really interesting, y'all. um yep. So with the personal cycle, it does say pursue interest in metaphysical sciences such as astrology, numerology, and cardology. That is funny. Oh, so let me. It does tell you what is it a what their. What am I saying? With these cycles, within each cycle, the personal, the health, and the business. She does have in here what it is a positive time to do and what it is a bad time to do. So she does have that. I really do recommend this book, y'all. Both of her books. I do actually through all three of her books because she got a memoir in it. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I have not finished it, but so far where I'm at, I really love how she included the numerology into it. But that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about with that. The next thing, which I wanted to go into, was when I brought up the trading, day trading. I've noticed recently, and this would have been Friday, August 28th. I was speaking with someone about manufactured homes, and she was going over the details. If you want to buy one, if you want to rent one, and if you rent one, what the prices are. And I noticed, and I was with one of my best friends, Jacqueline, and I didn't notice she noticed. But of course, I noticed that when she started talking about how much the rent would be per month, I kind of tensed up. There was this feeling in my gut, and I'm like, geez, whew. Because I don't know if I've ever brought this up or shared this with you all, but I am really big on affordable housing and affordable living. So I used to want to live in a tiny house. At first, it started out with me wanting to live in a tiny house on wheels. And then once I start seeing that they were evolving, I still wanted a tiny house on wheels, but not one of those tiny, tiny houses on wheels, like the 90 square feet, 100 square feet. I wanted something a little bigger. And then, especially once I had Chantel, I'm like, oh, I need something a little bigger than 100 square feet. But I still wanted it to be on wheels because I do want to travel the world. And I don't really care for staying in hotels. Um, I don't really care for staying in Airbnbs, but some Airbnbs are nice and they do keep them clean and up to date or whatever. But it's just something about your own space. And for me, either a camper or a tiny house or RV, those were on my list of things to do. And I also wanted to have a tiny house community. So, affordable living is one of the number one things on my list for me. So, when I hear prices for home rentals that for me are through the roof because of my financial background and how I grew up, and I know it has a lot to do. Oh, my nose is itching. It has a lot to do with the mindset and breaking down old habits and beliefs, a lot to do with beliefs and belief systems. That stuff came up on Friday and I could feel it. I felt it in me. So I had to trick my mind, not out loud, of course, but I had to trick my mind and try to get it out of that mindset because I'm like, oh my goodness, like I really, really like this community and they're expensive. Like, and it's a really, really nice, quiet community. It's surrounded by nature. They got the nature preserves there. Oh, it's two lakes there, so you get to hear the water. And I absolutely love it, y'all. And it reminds me of the blueprint that I have for the tiny house community. And so when I went there, I'm like, it feels like Florida. Like, when me and my best friend pulled in there, that was one of the things she said, like, "Oh, it feels like Florida." And even though I've never felt like Florida was a place for me to actually live and call home, I've always felt that that was a vacation spot for me, which could possibly be one of the snowbird locations for me. I don't know. I just knew that me living there 24/7, 365 was just not it. I knew that the first time that I've ever visited Florida. And so, but the feeling when you get to Florida, like the feeling that I felt the very first time I got off the plane in Florida, the first thing I said was, "Oh, this feels good. I love it here. This is my vacation spot. I can never see myself living here, but this is my vacation place." There's a certain type of feeling in the air and in the energy that Florida has. And I've rarely ever felt that same feeling here in Michigan, especially in the Detroit area. When I moved out in, we'll call it the suburban area for those of y'all that are not familiar with Michigan and the cities, there were two suburban areas I lived in, and I absolutely loved the energy there. And they were all east of Detroit, opposite of where I grew up at. I grew up on the west side. And so I've always been trying to get back. Ever since then, if I'm coming back to Michigan, I'm trying to get back to the east side. Right now, I am on the west side, and I could feel it in me. I'm like, yeah, this is most definitely temporary. That's how I knew. I'm like, yeah, y'all, I'll be moving again. Within this 7-year Uranus and Gemini transit, I'll be moving again. Most definitely, this is temporary because I don't feel like this is where I'm supposed to be if I do stay in Michigan, which, because I do want to be a snowbird, Michigan is one of the places that I will be calling home because family is here. And anytime I visit, me and my daughter need to have a place of our own to be able to come back to and not have to worry about renting a Airbnb or getting a hotel or whatever. We'll have our own home to come back to where we feel comfortable for our 3 month stay or 6 month stay, however long I feel like. Because right now, with me living in Florida for 2 years, I have come to appreciate the colder months. Still do not prefer to be out in the snow and the ice, but I do appreciate it. And I am going to make it my duty this year coming up. We're not going to say this year. I have a lot going on between now and the end of the year. But come next year, I am going to make it my duty to get outside, even in the cold, even in the snow, so that I can actually feel nature and feel the seasons. I had did this once before, and it was probably back in 2020. Geez, maybe the end of 2022, somewhere in there between 2022 and 2023. I started to go out and connect more with the seasons. It's something about understanding and connecting with the seasons on a deeper level that you don't get in the southern states. You kind of sort of miss out on that. And I don't know, I can't say that bond was sort of kind of broken when I moved to Florida, because even though where we were living at it did get cold, it wasn't, I mean, it was unbearable to me because after being in Florida for so long and it's hot, 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 when it get cold, it feels very drastic. But it was still only 2 seasons to me in Florida where we were living at versus the 4 seasons. And I felt that bond kind of break. It was still there, but it wasn't as strong as when I'm here in Michigan. So it's a difference. So I'm starting to understand why a lot of people do prefer and kind of connect more with having all 4 seasons. We'll see where that journey takes me. I still want to be a snowbird. So we'll see. But for now, while I am here, I do feel like that is a part of my journey and what I need to do. I need to get out. So I'm gonna do that next year and connect and bond more. I will be in a 7 year in numerology next year. So next year is going to be a lot of introspection for me. There has been a lot of courses that I have taken my whole life. We just gonna leave it at that. But there's been a lot of courses that I have taken, especially within this last 3 or 4 years, and I am being called to figure out how to combine what I've learned, put it into practice, so that that could be something that I then bring to you all and can share with you all about the changes that it has made on my life. So next year would be, I'll probably be still doing just one live a week. So every Sunday. I don't want to overdo it with me being in a 7th year. So come the 8th year, we'll see where I'm guided to go and where to take the channel. As far as how often I'll be on, but we're gonna say once a week, every Sunday, like I have it now at 4. And Sundays, I think I told you all, in numerology, Sundays are one of my favorable days. And number 4 is my number because I was born on the 31st. So that's why I chose Sunday at 4 p.m. And I think, so we talked about my health. We talked about what I need to release and let go. Then that brings me to the full moon eclipse that we just had in Pisces. So Pisces is in my 10th house of career, legacy, and public image, stuff like that. And I've noticed, because finances has a lot to do with that area, I went to go visit the community on Friday the 28th, like I told you. And that was the eclipse. And that eclipse brought that to light. So even though I have been working on it, because it is something that I have been working on, the lack mentality, that was really proven to me that day that there is still work to do surrounding that. And I'm not quite there yet. Like, I caught it, so that's good, because I did catch myself and I was able to trick my mind and not just completely shut the conversation down and feel like, oh man, I'm never going to live here, or it's going to take forever, or what. My mind just started going into, okay, well, what can we do about this mode? What do we have to do? When are you trying to look to move here? What needs to be done between now and then so that you can be able to afford to live here? So I am working on that, and I'll continue to work on that. And I want to do some release work around that throughout this full moon phase, and especially on the dark moon right before the new moon. I want to go ahead and do some release and forgiveness work around the lack mentality when it comes to money in general. We're going to focus on money. Um, because a lot of us, we say abundance, prosperity, but we rarely ever just use the word money. I know for me. So, and I know that this is a money thing. This is a money issue. So, that is what the full moon in Pisces eclipse brought up for me. Other than that, I feel great. Like on the eclipse day, I feel absolutely wonderful. I got so much good news about life in general. We'll just leave it at that. Life in general. And I've been feeling good every day since then. Today, I kind of woke up feeling out of sorts. I've been having dreams that have been taking me back into time, back into medieval times. It's very weird. Like the dream I had today, which is funny because we were talking about, well, I was telling you guys about the cycle that I'm in and how it's warning you about overeating and stuff like that. And the dream I had today was about food. Oh, geez. The dream I had today was about food. So that was funny when I read the book and I was able to see, like, okay, that's funny. But part of that dream, in the beginning part of the dream, it took me back to my childhood home in my childhood neighborhood where I ended up coming in contact with, I don't know what's wrong with my nose, y'all. It's itchy. Where I ended up coming in contact with someone that I went to elementary school with. And me and this girl, we were not even friends. I don't even think we've ever talked. But she was in a dream and she caught me walking down the street with my best friend Jacqueline and my daughter Chantel. She caught us walking down the street and she walked up to me and she walked with us all the way to my childhood home, came inside and was sitting on the steps and talking to me. So I don't know. I haven't sat with that dream. I haven't sat with my dreams in a while to actually figure out what they're trying to tell me. I need to do that again as well. But that was the dream that I woke up from today, and I kind of felt like I was in and out of worlds of sorts or dimensions or something. I don't know. It just kind of felt off today, but I still feel good today. A little sleepy. Um, but I think that's all I wanted to talk to y'all about today. Uranus and Gemini, all of this stuff, because it is under kind of, I don't know what's going on, y'all, but my nose is itchy. And it wasn't like that before I went live. I know it is hot back here. I wasn't able to bring the fan back here before I got on live, but I don't know what that's about. So, what was I? Oh, Uranus and Gemini, because this is a 7-year transit, It's going to be a lot of things up under this one big umbrella that I'm just going to bring to you all and talk to you all. And it's just going to be everything that's happening to me within these 7 years, because I don't really know how to break it up, and I don't want to have multiple podcasts or just multiple episodes, just random episodes or whatever. So I'm gonna keep it all under Uranus and Gemini as far as what's happening throughout these next 7 years. But you'll know what it pertains to, because I'll tell you if it's numerology, cardology, astrology, stuff like that. But Uranus and Gemini has been bringing a lot of awareness. I hope my nose does not start bleeding, because I have been having nosebleeds since I was little. And they could never figure out what that was about. So they started to, is it cauterize? I can't remember, y'all. But they would burn the vessels in my nose, and I start getting nudges to stop doing that. Like, cut that out. So I stopped doing that. They could never figure out why I have nosebleeds. But anyhow, this Uranus and Gemini transit has been transforming me in all different types of ways, from the inside out mentality, emotionally, um, even spiritually. I have been more on board with doing things that have been put into my face years ago now than I have ever been. But it all feels like it's time. Like it's past time that I should have jumped on these things. So, but it feels more natural now. Before it felt not, yeah, I'll say a little bit pressure, like there was pressure there. Like, oh, okay, when you look at your birth chart or your natal chart and you see certain placements, or you have certain readings by astrologers or whatever, even when you have tarot and oracle readings, and they could look at your when it comes to astrology, they could look at your chart. I had someone do this to me. Okay, y'all. Um, and I have no Kleenex or anything in here, so I'm gonna try to get through this. But I had an astrologer look in my chart, and this was maybe Chantel is 5, so maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I was told, "What are you doing with your life? You should be a millionaire by now." And I'm sitting there like, "What?" Now, this was before I don't think at this time I knew about, I did, because I had had a reading before him. So I did know about the rising sign and the sun and the moon and stuff like that. So that wasn't new. I'm guessing it was something about it that I didn't know, that he pointed out in my chart with whatever he saw. And it was a couple of other things that was said to me. And I'm sitting there like, well, if I was supposed to be a millionaire by now, I think I would be a millionaire. Because I'm a firm believer in all things happen in divine timing. Yes, we can make the changes, we can do the things, we can get on the right track. We could be doing this for our whole life. But if it's not your time, for whatever reason, whether it be the universe feels like it's not, you're not ready to receive that. The universe still wants to see that you can handle and take care of properly what you already have. So I'm a firm believer in that, and no knocking him, because he was very smart. Knew a lot of different things, astrology. he put me up on numerology because I was not aware of how deep numerology could go. And it was something else, etymology and medical astrology. It was a lot, y'all. So he was very knowledgeable, but everybody has their different technique and beliefs in the way they do things. And I do apologize because my nose has been itching throughout this entire podcast and I'm trying not to scratch it, but it's very irritating. And yeah, that was when I really started to have to buckle down and connect more with my beliefs and with the information and guidance that I was getting to come to me. And I did, and eventually I was called to no longer work with that astrologer. And not because of that, but it was because of kind of like a few other things. But that's okay because we have different teachers to teach us different things. And I did learn a lot from him. And I am a firm believer in not just having one teacher or guru or, guider or, yeah. You can learn from so many different people. And it is so important to learn from so many different people because everybody teach differently and everybody's knowledge is different. And they have experiences that they've had that are different as well that you can learn from. So, but I don't believe that it's set in stone. It is all about divine timing. And so but he brought up a lot of different, like a lot of stuff he brought up, it did wake me up. It brought me back to reality like, hey, what are you doing though? Like, where are you trying to go? What do you want out of life? And what are you doing now to get you there? So I did appreciate that. But this Uranus and Gemini has been making me reflect a lot. Reflect on the past, the present, the future, everything, just all in one, just everything. So I'm very appreciative of this Uranus and Gemini. And then especially with all of these transits that's going on within this 7-year period as well. The transit that everybody was just talking about, I believe they call it the Barbo's basket or something like that. And I don't know, for some reason these eclipse this season has been feeling like a little bit more potent than usual. But it could be because of the Uranus and Gemini transit. My whole life is just changing. Everything is just changing. It feels like I've been uprooted in all aspects of my life. So I am so excited to have you all with me on this 7-year journey so that I can share with you what I am going through in hopes that it could help you when you are going through your Uranus and Gemini. Um, I didn't mean to say Uranus and Gemini. When you are going through your Uranus transiting your ascendant or opposition, which is the midlife crisis. I really do hope that I'm able to help you all and kind of give you ideas and from my own life experiences, things that could come up with having Uranus transit your ascendant or your opposition when it comes to the midlife crisis. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like my whole life is being turned upside down, inside out, uprooted. At this point, I don't even know if I'm going to end up in the United States at the end of this transit. That's just what it feels like. Like, I'm may have to buy homes here in a state with all four seasons, and I may have to buy a home in a more southern state. But at the end of the day, those homes may end up getting rented out, and I may end up outside the country. That's exactly what it feels like, y'all. I don't know, but we shall see. And I will continue to go live for you all as long as I can every Sunday. I will finally be sharing the other thing that I've been keeping from you all. next month. I don't know which Sunday that I'll be sharing that with you all, but it is going to be sometime next month. I'm going to look at the calendar. And even though Sundays are my days, I still want to look at the actual date and look at some numerology to see when I feel called to share that information with you all. But I am going to share that with you all next month. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I want to thank everybody who has been watching this podcast. I truly appreciate it. When I started this podcast, I didn't think anybody would watch it or like it for that matter. I just knew that I was being called to get out there and post more on my channel and become very consistent. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know what I was going to talk about, and I had help from Eric Taylor with Biggie Astrology, and he's like, "Well, hey, it was funny because I think it was a couple days before I talked to him, and I had came across this lady's video on YouTube, which I can't even find her channel, and she was talking about her transit with Uranus on her ascendant. And before I came across her channel that night, I had already got the hit. Like, you need to talk about this transit that's coming up. It's going to help you be more comfortable with getting online and talking about your life and you, and because I'm like to consider myself a very private person. I don't really like people in my business and stuff like that. I will share. I am an open book when I do feel called to share to those that are guided to me and come ask me for guidance and stuff like that, because I do know a lot of the things that I went through. Some people go through it and don't know how to navigate it, or have gone through it and don't know how to navigate the after effects, or are starting the beginnings of going through that and kind of scared or stuck. So I consider myself an open book with that when it comes to my life experiences, because I do know that they can help people and they have helped people. But for the most part, I am very private. I don't like my life put out there, but it was made very clear to me because that night before I came across her video, I got that hit. Next day, I come across the lady video. And then a couple days, or I don't know how many days exactly it was, when I talked to Eric, and he said the same thing. Well, maybe you could start videos talking about the Uranus and Gemini on your ascendant in the opposition. So that was the third confirmation right there. So I'm like, okay, I got to do it, y'all. I got to do it. I'm trying to be more obedient. As you heard, I'm not good at that. It's got to be the Aquarius sun part of me. We don't really take orders very well. We like to do things on our time. But yeah, like with the pulling the cars and being called to do that and not doing that. Being called sometimes to just sit and be quiet and meditate like I usually do and not doing that. Being called to go outside and take a walk or just sit on the porch and get some air and not doing that. So you see the pattern. So I'm trying to break that, and I'm really trying to become a good disciple and start listening to what I'm being told and guided to do, instead of brushing it off or avoiding it, because I'm only avoiding the inevitable. I'm making it longer for me to get to where I'm trying to get to by not listening. So I think that's all, y'all. I'm going to end it here. We are 49 minutes in, and I don't have any other updates for you all. I'll just say that life is good. Life is great, actually. Even with all of the changes and the uncertainty, what this transit is really bringing to my attention, because I've always wanted to leave. Me and my best friend, we talk about this a lot. I call myself a recovering runaway, because I just like to run. If I get so overwhelmed and I don't want to deal with it, it's like, I just want to leave. Especially when it comes to me feeling uncomfortable in my home space. That is really big for me. Or like I was feeling uncomfortable here in Detroit. I couldn't wait to leave Detroit. So when it comes to me feeling uncomfortable in spaces, I just kind of want to just leave. Even though I've always wanted to move out of Michigan since I was a teenager, I've noticed the pattern. Even growing up with my with staying with my grandmother or staying with my cousin, and if it get to a point where I'm just uncomfortable, I just want to leave. Like, why am I here? This is I don't like feeling uncomfortable. Like, okay, yeah, bring me to change, bring me to this, bring me to that, but to feel uncomfortable, I don't like that. So I just run. Like, instead of facing it head on and dealing with it so I don't have to worry about it and deal with it later, it's just like I just run. And I think that realization came to me maybe 2 years ago or whatever year that was when I first moved to Florida. I got that realization, but it didn't stick. It was there, but it was so it wasn't until I want to say last year. So maybe 2024 or 2025. I can't remember. Or maybe it was the end into the beginning where I realized I was running to try to find a place that I could call home that felt like home. And instead of finding that within, I was looking for it externally. And that really hit home. And once that hit home, that's when I started feeling the nudge to come back to Michigan. And I'm like, well, am I supposed to go back to Michigan? Was there something there that I was supposed to complete that I didn't complete? Am I supposed to have some roots there so that I always can come back to something? I but once I realized that, that was a huge realization because it brought to light that I just run from deeper stuff. It was deep things that I was running from. And nothing like, oh, I'm running from a relationship or running from no, it was just and for me, I always thought it was the cold. The cold, the ice, and the snow. Then I got to Florida and it's cold. Yeah, it's no ice and it's snow, no ice or snow, but it's cold. So that to me was another thing like, okay, it's cold, but I'm dealing with it. I'm bearing through it. I don't go outside as much, but okay. But just like when it was hot, I don't like going outside much, but I was bearing through it when I did. So I'm like, this is not the issue. It's not because I'm trying to get away from the cold and the ice and the snow. It's something deeper than this. And that's when I started doing the deeper work. And that's when it became clear to me that I needed to have a home in Michigan, build first, and then figure out where I would become a snowbird or wherever else I would be living. But anyhow, no more running. Like right now, I will be honest. Me living in Detroit, I'm uncomfortable. Like it's not as bad though, because I feel like I've have done some work and I did well, a lot of work, we're gonna say. I have done a lot of work. So it makes it bearable now. Even with being in Michigan, when I first got back here in January, it didn't feel like because I came here in the winter. It was snowing, snow on the ground. But it felt good. And maybe because I was leaving Florida where it was so hot, it felt so good here. I'm like, oh, it's not even cold. It's snow on the ground, but it ain't even cold. This feel good. But it felt good to be back home this time. And I haven't felt that way. And like never, maybe. Not about Michigan. I've never felt like Michigan was my home. Um, but when I had to visit, I think it was August of last year. Mm, I don't know, because of the situation that was going on, I really wasn't focused on how I was feeling with the energies and stuff like that. So yeah, it would be this year. I'll just talk about this year, earlier this year when I moved back. I was okay. I felt okay. It wasn't like, "Ugh, I'm back again." Like when I came back, when I was staying in Alabama for 3 months, it didn't feel like that. Like, "Oh, I'm back again? Oh, why do I keep coming here? Why do" It did not feel like that at all. I felt good. It felt good to be back. And so I think Imma say I've healed that portion. Now I just need to work on that. For me, was the top layer. Now I just need to get to the root and work on healing that and releasing that. And I think that's what I'm here to do, get to the root and heal that and work on that. Because for me to be back in Detroit, now I can understand back in Michigan, in one of the suburban cities that I was living in before I moved to Florida on the east side. But to be back in Detroit, my childhood city, and on top of that, before I moved into the house I'm at now, well, actually, no, this will be closer. So the area I'm in now is not that far from the childhood neighborhood that I grew up in. So those to me are all signs that it's some deeper work that's being uncovered that I do not need to run from if I'm trying to finally heal and move forward with the more balanced and loving and healing energy, not one that's, oh, I just want to run away and get out of Detroit. So, and I do feel like the sooner that I do this clearing and deep rooted, pulling out roots and stuff, is the sooner that I'll be able to get back to the east side, because I feel a strong call and pull to go back to the suburban cities on the east side and be there. So this Uranus and Gemini is bringing up some stuff, y'all. It's deep. Excuse me. It's deep. It's really, really deep, but I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. And I know for everybody, it's not, or it may not feel as easy, and it's not. It may not feel as comfortable. It's not. But we can get through it together, which is why I have this podcast in hopes that this will help guide and give you some insight and kind of help you navigate it. And I'll just say, just go with the flow, but also take the reins. Do what is being asked of you to do and not run away from it because it's uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to stick and sit in that uncomfortable mess because it's something there that we need to uncover. And so I'm willing to sit and stew in this uncomfortable city, which, by the way, it doesn't feel like it did when I was always trying to escape. That's another reason why I know it's something deeper here that I'm supposed to work on and work through, because it's bearable. It's like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. Even the house that I live in, it reminds me of my childhood home. And I'm very uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable living here. But we going to get through it, y'all. Whatever it is, I'm ready to finally get through it and get on to the other side. So we can get to the good stuff. I mean, it's the good stuff too, but the good stuff. All right, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Thank you all once again. I truly appreciate you all. I love you all. I read the comments. I do have to catch up on my comments from the last video, that last episode 6 that I put up. And I probably have to catch up on comments from episode 7, because this week I have a full week again. Busy schedule, busy work schedule. But this is my last week before my break, so I'll have time to do all of that catching up and everything. But I truly appreciate you all for watching me, for sharing, for liking the videos. I mean, just even giving me your time, because my episode's been random. So for y'all to watch the random ones, oh, that means so much to me. But I will let you all go. I am done going on a rant. Protect yourself, protect your energy, and always remember this too shall pass. Yes, it's 7 years, and that seemed like a long time, but look how time is flying by. It's flying. So we'll get through it all together as long as we stick together. We got each other back. We share stories. We share affirmations. We encourage. We support. Those are the most important things. And I'll see you all in episode 8 of the Uranus and Gemini 2025 to 2033 Transit Podcast, Ascendant and Natal Opposition Edition. That's a lot, y'all. But I'll see you in episode 8. Peace, unconditional love, and light, beautiful spirits. Until next time.